This fifth video in the Bagpipe Beginner series corresponds with Chapter 5 in the Highland Bagpipe Tutor Book, published by the National Piping Centre in Scotland. And again, here's what the book looks like. This entire chapter is located on one page in this book. It's page 13, and it contains 4 of the most crucial exercises that a beginning bagpipe student is going to have to master to move forward. At this point, it may be worthwhile for you to begin using a metronome. I personally like to use a separate device. This happens to be a Korg TM40 that is both a metronome and a tuner. It's a little bit expensive, but you can buy super basic metronomes that simply provide a tick, 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 or a tock, tock, tock. And I actually suggest finding a metronome that will provide you with one steady sound rather than tick, tock, tick, tock, either a tock, 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 or a tick, 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 because you're really only focused on that one type of beat at this stage of the game. I'll get back to that in a second. What I want to do is focus on the 4 exercises in Chapter 5. Exercises 3 and 4 will allow you to kind of mix up your scale work a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting. In exercise 3, you're doing what are called ascending broken scales. And by broken, they're not broken as in, something got broken and we have to fix it. They're broken in the sense that instead of going straight up and down the scale, you're going to be going up the scale in steps. And so here is exercise 3 on, again, page 13 of chapter 5 of the Highland Bagpipe Tutor Book. Starting on low A. And I usually take a breath there. That's almost the end of the first line of that exercise. And then it comes back down to C. And here's where you could actually begin to introduce a metronome. And again, I like to use a separate device. You can get several different metronomes. If you have a smartphone, you can find them for free, with or without ads, that kind of thing. At this stage of the game, I would not take a beat that's any faster than about 50 beats per minute. So that's 50 beats per minute, same sound, tock, tock, tock. So if you're practicing exercise 3, this ascending broken scale, I'll just do the first line of it to show you how I'd use the metronome. So 1, 2, 1, 2. And so on. And the reason why it's good to start using a metronome, even at this stage of the game for you, is that all music occurs in some kind of rhythm. In our music, in bagpipe music, most of our music occurs in fairly regular rhythms. There's some really weird, like modern, odd music that can go off into some very strange rhythms, but even that music is in a particular rhythm. It's in a particular regular rhythm. So it's good to begin to establish the idea in your own mind and your own body, frankly, of getting a nice regular beat, even when you're just practicing scales, which are super important. So that was exercise 3, and also an introduction to the metronome. I'm going to move on to exercise 4, which is the descending broken scale exercise. So now we're going to start on high A and come down the scale rather than low A and go up. So here we go, exercise 4, page 13. Breath. So those are really, really good basic scale exercises for going up and down the scale. Now, the next two exercises on this page and in this chapter, exercises 5 and 6, deal a little bit more with some really crucial technique that you've got to master. Exercise 5 is all about developing the important movements between the top and bottom hands, especially that transition from D to E, so from D to E and back down again. So here, just very basically, is exercise 5. Okay. Exercise 6 is super important to my mind because it's all about making sure that you can always get back down to the lowest note on the chanter, that low G, which also means that you're covering cleanly and completely all of the holes on the chanter. So here's what exercise 6 looks like. And it's 2 lines. And in the first line, you're coming from the higher notes down to low G, and then you're going back up from low G to the notes in the scale. It's kind of like you're using a descending scale in the first line where the higher notes are all dropping down to low G, and then in the second line, an ascending scale starting on the low G and going back up. So here's what it sounds like, and I'm going to breathe at the end of the first line. That's actually harder than it looks, or maybe harder than it sounds. And I honestly don't mean to make it sound easy. That's going to take you a long time to master, to cover all those holes cleanly, to make sure that you're getting cleanly down to low G. This is super important for a number of reasons, but mostly because very soon you're going to be getting into what are called doublings. These are types of embellishments that you're going to be playing on the bagpipe, and these give the bagpipe music its characteristic sound, these doublings. And a lot of these doublings occur through going down cleanly to that low G. You've got to be able to go cleanly to low G to create or make a doubling, and that's the case for quite a few of the so-called doublings that we play. And we'll get into that later, but what you need to know for now is it's absolutely crucial to be able to get cleanly down to low G, covering all the holes. We've got a little bit of time left for this video, and I wanted to talk just a little bit about the pressure that you need to use. I didn't talk about this earlier because I really wanted you to focus on trying to play scales cleanly. I did talk a little bit about the fact that on several other types of wind instruments, you have to use more pressure to get to higher notes. Remember that on our instrument, and it's true of the practice chanter as well as the full bagpipe, you need to create a very steady pressure. And hopefully you've been doing that exercise that we reviewed, I think in the first video, where I asked you to just go back and forth between low A and high A. To establish that nice even pressure. Keep in mind that you're going to be playing that exact same pressure, using that exact same pressure when you're playing every note on the chanter. So you don't need to blow harder. You don't want to drop off on your blowing as you go up or down the scale. Just wanted to put that out there as one final note for this video. Okay, good luck.